Hello and welcome back to Tuk-Tuk Travels. This will be the last video set in Vietnam before we return to Thailand. While we were in Hanoi, we made two trips out to see different things. One was to Halong Bay and the other to the Perfume Pagoda. Now, Halong Bay, literally translated, means descending dragon. The legend goes, back when Vietnam was a fledgling country, the gods sent a family of dragons to help protect the people. Now these dragons could spit out jewels and jade, and when they landed in the water, they turned into the limestone islands and islets. And then goes, when Vietnam was finally safe and a proper country, the dragon family decided to stay in Vietnam, and where the mother dragon went down to live became Descending Dragon Bay, or Halong Bay. Now, I was a little disappointed with Halong Bay, all for quite petty reasons, to be fair. I mean, the place itself was fantastic, but it's exceedingly overcrowded. We went out of tourist season and it was still ridiculously overcrowded. The second reason was, you see all these pictures and they have wonderful junks like this. However, we didn't get a nice junk with nice orange sails. We were on some quite hideous white boat. It was a big hullabaloo about cabins as well. It was all here and there. I changed the room like 3 times and ended up being in the room above the engine and next to the karaoke. But besides that, it was lovely. It really is. The water's a beautiful colour. The scenery was fantastic. The weather was relatively good while we were there. It was clear but cold. I say cold, I've adjusted to Thailand. It was about 18 degrees, and while my parents were in like shorts and things, there was me bundled up in a jumper and trousers. 18 degrees is cold out here, like really cold. But besides that, no, it was really most enjoyable. Possibly, I think the thing that made it most unenjoyable for me was the fact there were these 4 irksome French boys on our boat who almost actually made us turn back and go back to shore. They smuggled us some alcohol, got drunk far too quickly, and were then going around breaking windows, setting off fire extinguishers, and generally being a rotten nuisance. In the end, one of them threw up and went to bed quite early. Another fell asleep under the table, and one of them fell asleep somewhere else because they couldn't get into their rooms. They were that hideously drunk. Now, I'm not saying I'm a prude. I do enjoy a good drink every now and then. Hello, I have Vietnamese vodka. But it's not just their trip. It was for all of us. And when you've broken windows and set off fire extinguishers and the captain says, "You behave or we turn around and run the trip for everyone," you'd have thought they'd have paid any attention or heeded his words. But they didn't, which is a shame. As I said, I had people I spoke to and generally just avoided them. Which is quite easy when they're quite drunk, because they just seem to disappear and break things for hours. So yeah, it's fine. But I think that's what upset me the most about the trip. Had they not been there, I would have probably enjoyed it far more than I did. See you later. Most of our time in Halong Bay was spent on the boat just going around looking at different limestone formations. However, we did have an excursion on one of the days to go to Thiam Kung Cave. And this is probably the most famous cave in the Halong Bay area. It's huge, it goes on quite a while, and has the most wonderful stalagmites and stalactites I've seen. Apparently the best in Vietnam, which I can quite believe. They were very good. And a rock in the shape of an erect penis, among other things. That sticks out. Oh, more ways than one, hey! But no, that was really good. There's also an evil monkey that kind of stole things and was evil. But yeah. While we were on this day out. We also got to go sea kayaking. Now this was great fun. Of all the people in my on the cruise with us, my family and I, most of them seemed to think I was some 15-year-old. I mean, I know I look young, and I was travelling with my parents, but still, I didn't quite look that young, I think. So most of them wouldn't actually talk to me. However, there's this one girl, Sarah, an American, and she was really quite lovely. And we quickly became friends. And she came kayaking with me. Now, we was meant to be out for half an hour, and we thought, okay, where can we go in half an hour? Okay, we'll go to that cave, and we'll go to that cave, and round those cliffs. We came back an hour later, everyone's waiting for us, and we're just like... To be fair, we weren't doing anything else that day. We literally got on the boat, moored up, and then went squid fishing, which we didn't actually catch anything. But so they couldn't really complain too bad. But no, Halong was really enjoyable. Disappointing for the fact it is overcrowded and isn't what you expect in the tour wise. But the place itself, Halong Bay itself, is spectacular. Really good. Yeah. The second place I mentioned was the Perfume Pagoda. Now the Perfume Pagoda is more a complex of Buddhist temples in the Tuk-Tuk limestone mountains. The first temple was there in the 15th century, but most of the current temples were built either during the 17th or the 18th century. This would have been more enjoyable had the weather been better, for it rained non-stop, and had I not broken my toe that morning. Foolishly, well actually no, I'm going to tell you the real story. I got in a fight. There were 50 of them. Thousands of them even. And yeah, they all went to hospital or died, one or the other. And I broke my toe. We'll go with that story. So yeah, I'd broken my toe and it was raining. And we go visit these mountain temples. Now the steps are hundreds and hundreds of years old, carved into the mountain or laid out poorly. And it wasn't easy. It was cold, my foot hurt, and I was climbing in the rain. That said, the main focal point was Tuk-Tuk Cave, which was a hermitage site for a very long time before the temples were even there. And as caves go, it was quite big. I mean, it was just one little cave. Quite big, one little cave. It was just one little cave, but it was very high and very wide, and that was nice. All of the stalactites and, well, not really, well, the stalagmites, and just generally the rocks, they were also smooth, but I rubbed them for good luck. And the different temples we went in, each had a different thing about it. They're trying to sell you some spring water, or this was the fertility cave, or one of the stalactites looked like a breast with a nipple. So if you stood underneath it and drank the breast's milk, it was meant to bring you family good luck and something like that. But yeah, that was quite interesting. The temples themselves are really, really nice, especially the one at the bottom, which is, I think, the main one besides the cave. That has a wonderful architecture in it. And I went in an area, the door was open, okay, so I went into this area and then chased out by a lady waving something at me. So this is where the monks lived. If they live there and you're not supposed to go there, either put a sign on the door saying don't go in, or close the door. It's quite simple. But besides that, it was really nice. It was very good. One of the main interests for this site, though, is how you get there. There are no roads to these mountains, to these caves and temples. Instead, you have to get a boat up the Yen River. And the Yen River is not that deep, it's not that wide, so there are no motorboats, no powerboats. Instead, you get into a canoe, and then some crazily strong Vietnamese woman rows you up the river all the way there. It's like a half-an-hour journey, or thereabouts. Yeah, about a half-an-hour journey there. And this one lady, she's rowing and rowing, and they're strong women. You don't want to get into a fight with them. But all you can see along this river is just boat after boat after boat after boat of tourists, and then these powerful women rowing them. It was only the women who did it, because the men worked in the city of Hanoi, or so we were told. So that was that. This strong women rowing you about. It kind of really does take away the masculinity a little. But it was a good trip. That about concludes our time in Vietnam. From here we went to Chiang Mai, ready for Songkran, which I'll tell you about all in the next video. I also mentioned my friend Sarah. Now, I was fortunate enough to meet up with her again when she was in Bangkok, but that's another story for another time. Until then, I'll see you around. Goodbye.